Hey guys, so Lord here, back again with another review, and today we'll be taking a look at the NECA Toys Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Universal Monsters, Leonardo as the Hunchback. Now before we get into it here, let's first take a look-see at both the front and the back of the packaging. So without further ado, let's get into it. Now before we get into the meat and taters of this review, Leonardo comes with a pair of fisticuffs so he can punch you right in the kisser. He also comes with a pair of Kung Fu grip hands, which can be used to wield any of the accessories currently stored on his person. Take a closer look at those in just a minute here. And last but not least, as far as alternate hands are concerned, comes with a pair of pull my finger hands. Can't say we get a whole lot of pointing finger hands on the channel, but hey, today we got two of them. And before we take a closer look at all the accessories currently stored on his person, Leonardo comes with a pair of flame effects for his katana swords that appear to be different sculpts as far as I can tell. So that is pretty cool. So, we might as well just address the elephant in the room right away, since most of you are probably already familiar with this figure since he's been out for a while. Turning him around here, you can see he's got this big bulbous shell hanging off his back. And what you are meant to do, I'm going to tilt him a little bit to avoid anything falling out here, but you can open it up and see all the goodies stored inside. Like this bone here. It's got a bone of his own! Oh! Not sure what that was about. And then you can see a couple of shovels. Actually, I think one's a shovel, one's a spade. That's what I've been hearing in other people's reviews of this figure. His two katana swords, which are literally stabbed through his shell. It's pretty awesome. You got this little skull up here, which I did have to heat up to fit in there. The peg hole was a little tight on that. And then we also have this brain, which if I close this back up, it's going to be easier said than done, because I think mine is just a tad warped. So it kind of wants to bend a little bit as I go to close it. But once it's closed, it stays closed, so that's nice. This little brain container here, it's got a little peg hole on the bottom, but you can open this up and actually remove the brain, which is pretty sweet, I must admit. So, that said, you can close this back up and just have an empty container. You could stick something else in there, but why don't we put this brain back on there for safekeeping. Close it back up, and be careful, you don't want to break this tuber here, but it's fairly soft and flexible and pliable, so you shouldn't have too many issues with that. Knock on wood. But yeah, really cool. They gave good old Leonardo here the storage shell gimmick, which is reminiscent of the original Turtles line from Playmates Toys. I think that's really cool, and kind of makes up for the fact that they gave Leonardo one of the lamest monsters from Universal Monsters. I like the Hunchback, don't get me wrong. I mean, if I'm being 100% honest with you, I much prefer the Disney interpretation of Hunchback of Notre Dame, but this is clearly meant to be the Hunchback / Igor from the Frankenstein movie. So it led me to believe that Donatello was going to be Dr. Frankenstein to go along with the whole Frankenstein's monster motif that Leonardo and Raphael have going on, but that is not the case. He's of course going to be the Invisible Man. So who's going to be Dr. Frankenstein? I'm very curious, because I feel like we kind of need one since we have Igor and the monster, but no doctor. Maybe it'll be Baxter Stockman, because I don't think the Fly is a Universal monster, is it? But that said, if I'm not mistaken, Leonardo in the Vintage line was the Creature of the Black Lagoon and the Wolfman, while Michelangelo was the Frankenstein monster and either the Mummy or the Invisible Man. I can't remember which. I kind of get his figures mixed up with Raphael's, because the colors are very close on the vintage figures from the Universal Monsters crossover series. But I digress. Nobody cares about all that useless information right now. Let's look at the figure at hand, which is the Hunchback Leo. And even though Leo is not my favorite turtle, he is my second favorite turtle. And even though they gave him kind of a lame monster to mash up with, they made the most of it. And I also kind of like this because it's kind of poking fun at people who like Leonardo, because a lot of people don't like Leonardo and very few do. So the fact that they gave him kind of a whatever monster, but still tried to make up for it by giving him this awesome, need I say it again, opening shell gimmick. There's a spider in there too, but that doesn't come out. I think it's really cool. It's like NECA's self-aware that people weren't going to be okay with this, so they had to make the most of it. And I approve of that. But as far as articulation goes, his head can kind of spin. Doesn't really look side to side all that much. It does a little bit. Give him some credit. Can look up and down as well. His bandana is also on a swivel. You can rotate that if you want. Works okay. It's on a ball joint, kinda. So you can move it up and down just a tad. Not a lot, though. That said, he does have some hair and this little beard going on. I guess they shaved his beard a little bit, and some people are like really up in arms about that. I don't really care. I think that's fine. Have a giant long beard on a figure that's already got a giant back that juts out from him like this. Seems a bit excessive to me. As far as the shoulders are concerned, they can move forward and back. They can move out, but the shell is going to hinder it. So I'm probably going to go with this side. You can see it does move out a decent amount. And forward and back as well. He's got a swivel at the elbow as well as a hinge. I think he's got a swivel at the bottom too. Yes, he does. It's a little sticky on mine, but it does work. I think he's got a double jointed elbow. Yeah, you get about 90 degrees out of that. Not a lot. I will say the hinges on the elbows on some of these are a little loose for my taste, but they're at least not hard to move. He's got a swivel at the wrist with a hinge. He's got some cuffs that are separate pieces. So when you go to swap the hands, be careful you don't lose these, because they are separate pieces and they are not glued down. This one seems to be kind of stuck at the moment, so I don't know what's up with that, but at any rate, he does have a waist swivel, which is kind of hindered. Doesn't work a whole lot, but you do get a little shimmy out of it, so that's good. He's got all kinds of bugs and pests and vermin and insects and just little rascals crawling all over him. Creepy crawlies all over him. That's really cool. His hips can kick out, back down, a little loose, a little bit, but not too bad. Kick forward and back. He's got a thigh cut there. He's got a better thigh cut at the top of the knee. He does have the double jointed knee as well, but this giant knee pad kind of gets in the way of that. You're going to get a lot more bend out of that bottom knee than the top one, but there you go. A little shy of 90, but not terrible. Jeez, oh Pete. Then as far as his feet are concerned, he's got ankle rocker with the hinge. Does he have peg holes at the bottom of his feet? I can't tell. He might. He might. And he's also got this little kind of chain wrapped around his ankle there. Looks like he was chained up somewhere and escaped. It's pretty cool. I like all the added accoutrements to these Ninja Turtle monster figures because they tell a story, man. Looks like they've been through some crap, and they are not okay with it in the slightest. So I approve of this. I think this line is awesome. I still need to get April. This is the time I'm recording this video. Can't wait to check her out. Probably not going to do it before the Halloween Spooktacular is over, but hey, we can't have everything, right? Especially nowadays. That said, this may be my favorite of the three. It's between him and I think Raphael because they are my favorite turtles, and I do like me some Frankenstein's monster action. So we'll have to just wait and see the end of the year top 10 video holds, but definitely expect one of these guys to be on there because I really love this line. It's a super fun line, and I've had fun reviewing it. So with that being said, let's now move on and take a look at some size comparisons. First up, here's our Hunchback Leonardo alongside the other Universal Monsters Ninja Turtle figures I've already taken a look at on this channel this past week for my Halloween Spooktacular. Michelangelo as the Mummy and Raphael as Frankenstein's monster. Please check those videos out if you haven't already. Would really appreciate it if you did. And as I just said not too long ago, between the three of these, I think Leonardo and Raphael are my favorites. Nothing against Michelangelo as the Mummy, but you're just getting a whole heck of a lot more figure for your money with Leonardo especially, as well as Raphael. And last but certainly not least, we have our two regulars, the Mythic Legions, Brother Mandibulus, Livid Spawn, who's about neck and neck with good old Leonardo here. And if the previous size comparison didn't showcase how much of a chungus this figure is, then this sure as heck should, because good old Al Simmons usually towers over all, but not today. So with that being said, time to wrap things up, some final thoughts. Overall, and while it seems that Leonardo got the short end of the stick as far as getting a cool monster in this line is concerned, I mean, let's be honest, I would have much rather he got the Creature of the Black Lagoon or the Wolfman like he did in the vintage line. I think NECA took what was a cruel joke and ran with it and made it fun, which at the end of the day is really impressive because the Hunchback / Igor is not the most impressive of the Universal monsters, but dang it all if this guy isn't rivaling the Frankenstein's monster Raphael for my favorite figure in this line so far, because I love the storage shell gimmick on this guy. It is, as far as I'm concerned, one of the most well done gimmicks in Ninja Turtles, period. Vintage, Super 7, modern Playmate stuff, anything. It's a really cool concept that translates so well into this line, and I can't give NECA enough credit for that. They did a heck of a good job with what they had to work with, almost as if they are compensating for giving Leonardo a crap monster. But with that being said, I know this line isn't for everybody, but if you are into Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles or Universal Monsters, I highly recommend you pick this guy up because it's just a fun figure, man. And at the end of the day, that's what it's all about. So with that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed this review. If you're so inclined, please don't forget to comment, like, subscribe, and hit the bell so you know whenever I upload more reviews like this one. Stay tuned because Friday, the Headless Horseman rides again. I can only assume that some of you know what I am talking about. If you haven't already, please hit me up on Instagram at Overlord Productions. But as always, keep the comments civil, because the world sucks enough as it is, especially when you are a low-key Leonardo fan such as myself and you feel like he deserved a better monster. I mean, the Wolfman didn't have the strongest movie, so that would have fit, right? Right? But the silver lining to this story is with the money I got back from returning the janky Masterverse Hordak to my local Target, I did have enough to actually pick up good old Leonardo here. So hey, things worked out for old Overlord for once. So maybe the world doesn't suck quite so much after all. Or maybe it does. Or maybe no one cares. So with that being said, till next time, I'll catch you guys later.